Hello there, folks. Dan here. I'm going to make myself across the whole screen here. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the smooth sounds of Bruno Mars out. I don't know, I was just in a Bruno mood this morning, so I've had him going most of the morning. And what a better way to start a Wednesday morning and heading into the afternoon. Really appreciate you joining me today at lunchtime and taking this hour out to learn more about Facebook advertising and taking some time to learn a little bit more about your business and how Facebook can help grow and scale it. My name is Dan from Organik Digital, obviously. At Organik, we help small to medium businesses both manage their ads as well as train and educate them like we're doing for the next hour. And today's topic is on Facebook advertising funnels, which you may have heard of before or heard mentioned or just heard sales funnels in general, and maybe intrigued as to how Facebook can help drive the sales funnels or customer journey, whatever term you want to call. We're covering that today. I'll quickly, in a sec, I'll take my head off the screen and actually get into the content, but obviously just a couple of housekeeping issues. There's the comments over here. I hope I'm pointing in the right direction. Feel free to leave questions throughout the webinar. I'll probably come back to those questions at the end of the webinar. So the training will go for approximately 40 to 45 minutes. Leave enough time for questions. With your questions, just try to be as descriptive as possible, because if I miss them throughout and don't potentially know the context of what your question's about, then that makes me hard, and I'll be asking you once we get to that question. So just try and make it as detailed as possible. But yeah, we'll cover any questions at the end. If there's any that I don't get to or something that you're not sure about, I'll make sure I'll follow up with you afterwards as well via email. And also in the comments, I've posted a link to a worksheet that can help you create your Facebook advertising funnel and put into practice what we're going to teach today. And you'll also get access to these slides and any links mentioned throughout the webinar as well. So they'll all be in PDF version emailed to you. They would have already been emailed to you, but they'll be followed up in the webinar as well if you missed that one. But you don't need to use that worksheet now. You can come back and you can stop and start me as much as you like after the fact. You'll have access to a replay as well. So let's get into it. I'm going to go half and half a little bit, and then once we get into the main content, I'll flick you over to the full presentation. But obviously, goes without saying, but for the next hour, you've made time to try and learn more about Facebook advertising, so you owe it to yourself just to try and keep it as distraction-free as possible. I know it's really difficult, particularly if this is your lunch hour, but turn off any notifications from Facebook, ironically, even though we're talking about it, but email, etc. Just try and shut down for the next hour and just give me your full attention, because I've attended a lot of webinars and trained a lot of webinars in my time, and I know that you get the most out of them when you follow along. And feel free to take notes if you like. Like I said, you've got access to these slides afterwards, so you don't need to write anything from the slides in particular. You can take your own notes tonight. Today, so a lot of people are not sure what Facebook ads funnels is about, or whether what we're going to be teaching today, they're going to be able to put it into practice. So I wanted to see if you had these thoughts before. Feel free to leave comments in there if you have. But a lot of people come to me and there's a lot of the similar questions and consistent with the same questions that we get, where people have either boosted posts before, so Facebook have sent you a notification that this post is really performing really well. You should put some money behind it. But it's maybe sometimes those boosted posts have worked okay, but most probably haven't. Or maybe you're not quite sure what to put in your Facebook ads, as in what the content should be. And another one we always get is, I can never tell if Facebook ads are working. If you've then you're in the right spot, because today we're going to be telling you more about what's working with Facebook ads, how to find out, how to better understand Facebook advertising itself, and the background of it, so you can provide strategy in place. And also, I want to make sure you can work 2 steps to put in practice. So it's not just a whole heap of information, but you have a priority list on what to focus on first, because there's a lot of information to try and consume, and like I said, you've got to replay so you can come back and access this when you like. But I'm going to use the 2 steps on what to focus on first, and what steps to take at the end of this webinar as well. I was trying to make sure that if you can build time, I want to give you some of my time back as well. So I'm offering a free 30-minute performance session, and I'll give you more details on that at the end. And how you get access to that bonus as well. It's completely free, and we'll cover the details at the end. All right, let's get into the bulk of the training for today. So first of all, what I like to do with any Facebook advertising training is cover, I guess, the background of Facebook advertising, because it helps to set the scene on the strength of Facebook ads, the capabilities of it, why people are talking more about Facebook advertising, and also why I think it's different than any other online advertising medium. So I'm going to set the scene first, and then we'll get into the specific details around the Facebook advertising funnel. But this is really valuable information, and gives you a better understanding of the capabilities and how you can put them into place. So Facebook advertising, it's no surprise that it's really a hot topic at the moment. I've seen it in my own business and just in the conversations happening online, and purely also the amount of clients that we manage now, which are just Facebook advertising clients. And that's purely just because it's the advertisers themselves on Facebook are growing exponentially. These stats are actually from April of this year. So they ticked over 5 million advertisers in April of this year, and I think it was September, October of last year, they were at 4 million. So I'm expecting if that growth has continued, then they're probably not far off ticking over 6 million advertisers around the world. Interestingly, 75% of them are from outside of the USA as well. So it is really a worldwide business, and Instagram is growing a lot as well. If you don't know, Facebook own Instagram, and you can serve ads to Instagram, but you need to set them up via Facebook. But there's a lot of people advertising on Instagram as well, and I have no doubt that that has grown a lot in the last 6 months. But as potential, especially with the capabilities and the ad units and the growth of Instagram itself. But obviously with popularity becomes competition. It's just a supply and demand thing. So what Facebook are actually really struggling with is finding enough ad units and enough space to cope with the influx of advertisers coming through. So I want to cover that in more detail in a sec, but really the reason why a lot of people are coming to Facebook to advertise their business is the power of its community. They've ticked over 2 billion users worldwide. This is in July of this year as well. So they've got a consistent monthly active users of over 1 billion of those as well. So they're a really active and returning bunch. A lot of people don't realize the power of some of their other apps as well. So their messaging apps are incredibly powerful, and they have 2 of the 4 largest messaging apps around the world. They have over 700 million users on Instagram, which has now overtaken any other social media channel, obviously other than Facebook, but it's really left Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, any of those that you sort of hear in the same sentence. It's really overtaken those well and truly. So Facebook really control the 2 major social media channels around the world. And that's that's the strength where Facebook lies in its user base and the people that users effectively. And the great thing about Facebook is that their algorithm, which basically determines what you see on your newsfeed. So every time you log in, there's an algorithm that is determined by thousands of different data points on each user. So on your profile, they combine all of those, and they also combine them with some external data companies. So there's actually some third-party data suppliers that are more offline behaviors. So things like your credit card spending behaviors, if you're got a home loan, a mortgage, car loan, whatever it is. Facebook are actually really good at combining their user data, so their names and email addresses and locations, etc., with details from external companies as well. So they're now combining those, and they're getting more data than they've ever had on its user base, and they can retarget based on the behaviors that they perform as well. So the algorithm is as advanced as it's ever been, and it's only getting better. And basically the whole power of Facebook advertising is that it has an ability to find users that are most likely to perform your campaign objective. So what I mean by that is, when you first set up a campaign and you've got different objectives from, for instance, video views, engagement, clicks to website, conversions, for instance, there are different people that perform different behaviors. There are different people that watch more videos. And so if your objective is video views, for instance, and you've got a data pool of 1 million people, there will be a percentage of people within that 1 million people that watch a lot of videos on Facebook. So they're most likely to see ads if your objective is video views. Also, if there'd be another data set within that 1 million people that click on a lot of links and go to external websites off Facebook. So if your objective is website clicks, then they're most likely to see your ads from those, because they're most likely to perform the objective of your campaign. So they know the behaviors that people perform, as well as the actual interests and details around the user itself and what they do on a day-to-day basis, both on Facebook but also off of Facebook as well. One of the big trends we're seeing in Facebook at the moment, I'm sure you've probably seen it in your news feeds, is that they're prioritizing video over any other format. And really the basis of that is because video maintains people's attention. It keeps them on the news feed for longer. It allows them to watch and consume more and more videos. So kind of like when you jump on YouTube and you find yourself watching 3, 4, 5 videos after you've watched that one that you just wanted to spend a couple of minutes watching. Facebook are getting much better at that. So they know the power for them lies in video, and they're all about keeping people on their newsfeed because they want to keep people within their platform, obviously consuming more sponsored content, making them more money. It's a business decision, basically. Some other capabilities and tactics. So like I said, keeping more people within the platform, and they're doing it very well through a mobile, an emphasis on mobile and trying to engage people via them. They know that's the future, really, that more and more people are consuming their content across mobile. So that's where they're putting a much more emphasis on people and their mobile apps, not just the normal Facebook mobile app, but the Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and showing ads to that. They've got an audience network, which is similar to kind of like your Google AdSense network, where you'll go to different websites and they've got placements for Google Ads. Well, Facebook has its own little network. They're actually only mobile apps and mobile sites, and they allow people to put ads within those sites as well. But with all of these tactics, and yes, they continuously evolve, but the principles remain the same. And that's what I want to cover today around Facebook ad funnels. And that's really that you need to approach it, or you need to have a different approach to Facebook as you do to any other online medium, because at the end of the day, you're interrupting their browsing experience. The user has the power, and they have the decision on whether they're going to keep on scrolling past your advert or not. So you need to treat that with respect and know that not only is the user not going to pay much attention to your advert if it isn't relevant to them, but they're there to do other behaviors, and they're not there to consume your latest sale or promotion. So you need to put yourself into the user's shoes as well. And also, Facebook themselves will always take the side of its user base, because they know that's where its strength lies. And they know that if they alienate their user base, then they'll leave the platform. So they're always trying to make the best browsing experience for their user base. So if your ads aren't relevant to them, they simply won't show them. And I've actually seen that before. If you're trying to put up ads that are targeting to the wrong audience, or the ads isn't structured properly, it's going through to a website that isn't designed properly, or potentially goes against their policies, Facebook are really cracking down on the quality of advertising you're putting out there. So if you want to give them money, they actually won't take it, because they will always take the side of its user base. So you need to respect that platform, and really you need to be able to work on building a relationship with your audience. And that takes time, like anything. And that's really the basis behind the Facebook advertising funnel. And I like this quote. I can't remember who it was from, but this is, I think, what really wraps up Facebook user base and really social media in a nutshell is they're starved for connection, not attention. So they can get as much attention, people can get as much attention as they want. But at the end of the day, they still want a connection with human beings, with brands. They still want to feel like there's an actual real person on the other end of who they're talking to. And you need to talk to them that way as well. So you need to be able to build trust, build authority, and you do that through an advertising funnel by showing them the ads at the right time that are relevant to them. So really what I try and relate it to is if you've got a bricks and mortar store, for instance, when someone walks into a retail store and they walk through the door, the first thing you don't do is grab whatever's off the sale rack and shove it in front of them and go, here, buy this. So I don't understand, if we don't do that in person, why do people try to sell to people straight up with their first advertisement? And I kind of relate it to those big flappy things that you see out the front of car dealerships and vacuum stores that jump around and just kind of try to grab people's attention all the time. That's a lot of people's approach to Facebook advertising. So you need to try and drive a deeper connection with them, as opposed to just trying to shout at them and try to grab their attention away from exactly what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, we are bombarded with so much media. Every day, there's different studies out there, but they say that every single person is hit with over 2 million pieces of media every single day. And the steps that people take to purchase is as long as it's ever been. It used to be that old kind of, during the Mad Men days, you first see a brand 3 times before you make a decision on whether to purchase or whether to investigate more. Whereas now there are different studies out there that say it's up to 6 to 7 times, and other studies say up to 17 times, just purely because of the saturation in the media that people are taking longer to make a decision, they're investigating more, and they've got so much more resources at their fingertips that they can investigate your brand and your products and compare your products to other businesses out there as easy as it's ever been. So the decision-making process, as long as it's ever been. I actually want to tell you a story around a purchasing decision that I've made recently that I just documented. I kind of started it and then went back and thought, I wonder how long it takes me to make this decision. So I recently bought a new pair of shoes, and this is a process that I went from the first time that I thought I need a pair of shoes through the time that I actually gave over my credit card details and purchased. So day one, I was actually leaving the gym, so they were kind of like a cross trainer type pair of shoes, and Melbourne winters. It was a little bit slippery on the tiles out front. Walked out and slipped a little bit, thinking it was just the wet tiles, but then actually looked at them and realised, probably thinking back, I'd probably worn out my runners a little bit too much and had them for a couple of years too long. So I looked at the bottom of the soles and they were completely worn out. So I was like, okay, well, I need to look at getting a new pair of shoes. So for me, and this path to purchase is my own individual one, and we need to remember that every single person will enter the purchasing process in a different way. But for me, I jumped onto Instagram and I searched the hashtag sneakerhead, just to see what were the latest sneakers out there, the latest styles. I know that a lot of big brands are coming out with some really cool runners and cross trainers and stuff like that lately. So I jumped onto Instagram, searched a hashtag, followed a few accounts. That was really day one, sitting on the couch, did that, kind of forgot about it. About 5 days later, so day 6, I was browsing through Instagram again and got served. It wasn't actually an advertisement, it was just a post from a brand themselves that went in and had a cool pair of shoes that they were profiling, and I could click the link to find out more. I thought that's cool. Jumped onto the link in their bio, went through to their website. They had a YouTube video there. I actually subscribe to people on YouTube. I think only probably myself and people between 6 to 10 years old subscribe to people on YouTube, but I do. So I subscribed to that YouTube user on their website. So they had that YouTube video embedded on their website. And again, I left, I watched it. That was fine. Whatever, it was a cool pair of shoes. Looked pretty snazzy, probably a little bit out of my price range, to be honest. But then about 4 days later, I was on Facebook and I got the first ad. And they this I was interested in. Went through the website and I actually browsed a few different products themselves, and this is probably as much investigation as I've done. And I actually added a pair of shoes to the shopping cart, but I wasn't trying to come home and it was on my mobile. I wasn't put my credit card and take my details in and there. I also do this knowing that I'm going to get served ads and emails, but it's also like an interesting journey in itself as well. But a couple of days later, after adding them to my shopping cart, because I picked up my email previously, because I'd gone through and abandoned a shopping cart, I got an advertisement to say, come back and complete your purchase. Here's your discount code again. Don't forget to use that. It hit me at the right time. I was on my desktop, went back and grabbed that discount from the email back in step 6 or 7 or whatever it was, and jumped onto their website, completed my purchase, and got the confirmation email. That was the next day after that. So that was from day one through to actually completing my purchase and handing over my credit card detail was 17 days. And that was a $100 pair of shoes. So you need to, I guess, think about a number of different things there. Obviously, it isn't a linear process. People will come in at any different stages along this customer journey, and people also do more or less investigation as well. Some people will skip straight through and will just go straight to the website. And I probably will do that from future now and there. I've got these shoes. I'm happy with them, and next time I know that they're getting worn, I'll probably just go straight back to the website and purchase them again. But again, that's also because I may have been served an ad in maybe a year's time when my shoes start to run out, or maybe I'll get served a different type of product as well. But all of these decisions and steps that I take along the way are all critical, and the way, if you envisaged a Facebook sales funnel, is that you need to basically start from the end and work backwards in the potential decision points that I may make along the way. And all you can aim to do is be front of mind, because like I said, every individual will be different rather. There isn't a consistent journey through from first step and being exposed to the brand through to actually converting. So there's no silver bullet. You just need to be front of mind and take those key decision points and think about what content you can offer to move them further along to the next step. So how can you build more trust? How can you get more details from them that then you can serve a more relevant ad next time? And really, this was sort of an unconscious type decisions I was making with some of these without even realizing it until I thought back on it and actually thought about what I'd been served when. And clearly I'm looking at this in an analytical perspective, but the average consumer doesn't do this. They just make decisions based on what's in front of them. So, and these were strategic ads placed in front of me at the right time because they knew what I was closer to purchasing. This is a really good diagram of how I went from content through to building a closer relationship with following different accounts, to offering some value through a discount, through to offering a product advertisement that was relevant to me, and then again something that could build a bit more trust to help me get over the line because they knew that I was really close. So this messaging in this advertisement was much different to this advertisement on day 10. It was much more come back and complete your purchase, and it was a bit more salesy, but they knew that because they'd already built that relationship over the course of 2 weeks, and they could talk to me like that way to get me over the line. They knew that it was only one more step and that was it. So what I want to go through is I guess relate the Facebook advertising funnel, and when I refer to different terminology in Facebook advertising funnel, Facebook actually tell you this when you first set up your campaign objective. So when you actually go and set up a campaign objective, you've got these 3 columns and you present them with these. And the headings are how I structure a Facebook advertising funnel: awareness, consideration, and conversion. So they actually want you to think of your overall strategy as a Facebook funnel. And Facebook say that you should be having different campaigns running at the same time that have different objectives to be able to push them closer to the point of conversion. They know that showing ads straight here to a cold audience probably won't work, or won't work consistently over a long period of time. So they know that you need to spend some money on the awareness and consideration levels to be able to build that relationship to be able to serve them a conversion ad. So you choose, I guess, when you set up your objective, you're choosing at what point these people are in your overall Facebook advertising funnel. So if you like, I've got the worksheet that I've sent through in your email. There's also a link over in the comments as well if you want to copy and paste that link, but you're more than happy to follow along and complete this worksheet as we go. We're actually going to work sort of from the bottom up, so I know it doesn't make much sense, but so yeah, there is a recording available of the webinar, by the way, Sally. So you can jump on afterwards. You'll get an automated email afterwards that'll let you through to come back and watch it. So to first point with the worksheet itself, you obviously need to know who you're wanting to target and where they start from. So last week's webinar, which if you haven't gone back and watched, there's some replays on. I'll put the link in the comments in a second, but it's at organicdigital.com.au/webinar where you signed up for this one actually. But that spoke about who it is you're trying to target and how you can find the people that you want to target. So if you want to go back and watch that webinar and complete the audience worksheet there, then at least you know who you're going to target. So then you can go through this Facebook ads funnel worksheet now. So we're going to work our way backwards, and the reason I do that is really to think about what do I need to get them to that final step as opposed to what do I need to focus on straight up. So, and really you need to know what that final goal is. But the conversion stage, so that last stage, these people have an existing relationship with you. And with each of these stages, I'm going to go through what offers are the best, what ad types are the best for them, the objectives that you want to use for your campaign, and different examples of how you talk to them differently compared to the other stages of the sales funnel. So you want to be pretty honest with these people. And like I said in that last, my purchasing journey, the language that they used in that advertisement as opposed to how they were kind of non-salesy and non-committal in that first advertisement was very different. So whether it's something that you can be honest with them and help them take that final step and ask yourself what other additional benefits can you offer to make them feel more comfortable to make a purchase or conversion or whatever your conversion point is. So some of the different offers that you can use. So retargeting is a big one on this, and retargeting we covered in last week's webinar about how you can retarget people that perform different behaviours, both interacting with your Facebook ads themselves, but also on your website as well with another one. So retargeting based on products browsed, retargeting based on behaviours performed, like I said, abandoning my cart, so adding it to cart and leaving, and also often answer any questions that they have. And one of the ad types that you can use for that is Facebook Messenger ads. So like I said at the start of this webinar around setting the scene with Facebook and their messaging apps, they actually know that this is as much of a sales channel, and Facebook Messenger as much of a sales funnel as anything else. And the ability for people to contact brands and have a direct conversation with them and with a real person is a reason why there are now Facebook Messenger ads. And I've seen ads work, and I've interacted with them and have run them as well, where maybe someone just needs that last little tipping point to come through and purchase, and something that they're not sure about. Maybe your product is, really difficult to explain through Facebook ads, or there are a lot of either objections or questions that people might have that they need to get an answer to make that commitment. So a simple advertisement type can be like an image to say, hey, can I answer any questions, or ask me whatever questions you want. We're here to help. So the ad types that you can use for that are Facebook Messenger ads. There are also different type of ad types, which product catalog ads, which for e-commerce stores are incredibly powerful and allow you to retarget. They're all fully automated and allow you to retarget based on products that they've browsed. And they show those products as well as other similar products as well. And Facebook know that based on the categories that you've set up in your store, and they know what's most relevant to them as well. Again, it's the power of the algorithm and their data that they know what products they're most likely to purchase. And then you've got your simple retargeting ads, which are basically just like any other link post, video post. You can set up, you can put whatever creative you want in there, but they're retargeting people based on the behaviors that they've performed. So for instance, you can retarget people that have performed behaviors on Facebook, such as watching a certain percentage of a video, even just engaging with any of your posts, whether it be a post on your page or an advertisement post as well, and engaging being a like or a comment or a share. You can retarget then, go through to people that have jumped onto your website and buy the Facebook pixel. Again, last week's webinar, I'm sorry to keep on referring to that, but we covered the Facebook pixel in last week's webinar, and where it tracks people on your website and tracks them around the website to know what pages they hit and when they hit and how long they spend there. Whatever you think is relevant, it's actually important to take a step back and think about, well, what is the final step that I want people to take? What is the goal of this actual campaign? And yes, that whole customer journey might be that what you want them to buy, but if you're going to a completely cold way, you want them to watch a video, or you want to get them to visit your website and consume basic content, and even though in an advert that doesn't necessarily make sense, your campaign objective, so the campaign objective for that that would make more sense would be whatever it is, the first behavior you want them to perform, whether it be website clicks or watching a video, which we'll cover in the next couple of steps as well. And clearly, obviously, the examples of how you can talk to people and the language that you might use is very different. Like, did you forget something? Come back and complete your purchase. Speaking specifically to what behaviors they performed, and triggering, and again, be in front of mind. Perhaps they've browsed a bunch of products, not sure what product is right for you. Browse our other similar products here. You can use a product, the product catalog ads rather for those, and they'll automatically show a different range of products that are similar to that as well. So again, stage, and when you're completing this worksheet, you need to think about what are the offer that I'm going to put in front of them according to where they are. So as in what touch point it is, what's the offer or the call to action that you want them to get, and then what the campaign objective is. So that's conversion stage, working backwards. Then the middle stage is actually the consideration stage. I think is probably the most important part of the customer journey. Yes, obviously getting the money from them at the last is really important, but I find most of my ads are actually in this middle stage of the funnel here, where and they often have the biggest drop-off rate, because here is where people that have been exposed to your brand already, so they've generally either engaged with a video, they might have visited your website, they may have followed you on Instagram or Facebook, and now you're trying to answer their objectives and solve their problems and build trust in your authority to help get them closer to that point where they're ready to convert. And this is a really important stage, and often one that people gloss over and don't think about thoroughly, because they need to put stuff out there that isn't necessarily asking for a conversion then and there. It's more actually trying to, I guess, build that trust with them and build that relationship with them. So the offers that you might put in front of them are content that answers questions that they've been wondering about. And if you put yourself in your customer's shoes, you need to think about, well, what things stop them from converting and how can I answer them best? And sometimes it's a really interesting exercise just to ask your customers, because we're all in our businesses every single day and we sometimes don't put ourselves into our customers' shoes. So putting content in front of them that answers potential questions, thoughts they're having about the product itself, showing them why your product or your business is different to the others out there. So what the benefits of your business are, and allows them to connect with your business. Trust is a huge thing in business these days. Like I said, we're bombarded with so much media that our radars, particularly in Australia, and Australians, I think their radars go off faster than other countries around there. We're a bit more scared countries. So building that trust is really important. People want to have a connection and buy into that. Going back to that saying at the start, people aren't starved for attention, they're starved for connection. And they're sick of businesses just talking to them like a number. So you need to talk to them like a person and have that conversation with them. So whether that connection is through pieces of content or whether you need to actually spend some money on producing content that entertains and gets thinking about a nostalgic moment in their life. You can't undervalue the quality of that content and that creative out there. So this is a really important step in the overall sales funnel that I want you to focus on. Some of the ad types you might use for this are just a simple link post that just have like a single image or maybe a carousel image. And they are also videos as well. Videos are obviously great and ideal for your advertisers because they can portray so many different messages in a much shorter piece of media. But obviously, creating a video is a resource that you need to have as well. So we can't all afford to have videos for every one of our advertisements, and I totally get that. Sometimes if you've got a really good image though, that can tell just as good a story. Some of the other ad types you might want to use are what called canvas ads, rather. Canvas ads are basically these mini mobile websites, and they're really just limited by your creativity because what they allow you to do is put different elements into a mobile site that immediately loads, so it's all hosted on Facebook. And it can look like your main website itself and have all the different color schemes and everything like that. But you can put different videos and text and images and carousels and whatever you like in that, and different buttons and people to take action. But if you've got a brand that potentially, these are really popular for bigger brands that I guess need to show the overall benefits of their product, but I think they're probably an undervalued medium, to be honest, and I think maybe small businesses don't use them because they're quite overwhelming and they've got to think creatively about it. But sometimes it's really really important to think about the type of creative that you can put in front of people. And Yeah, so the selection of images, Marissa, just answer any question. Marissa had a question on, does the selection of still images move as a carousel count as a video? Yes, it does, yeah. So if you're wanting to retarget people, they have the slideshow capabilities, so you can target people. So moving images, it just grabs people's attention, because if you're thinking via the mobile, I guess, environment, when you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, something that moves makes you stop. So moving images are certainly really valuable. The objectives for this consideration stage are generally, you want to get them to that next point to investigate your product more. So sometimes conversions will work. Sometimes if you've got a really powerful piece of content and creative, that people will like, yep, take my money. So conversions will sometimes work for those people. Again, if you're taking that data set of 1 million people, there'll be people that are most likely to convert, and compared to people that are most likely just to click on it but may not convert. So different behaviors for different people. Yes, you want to try and get conversions, but those people that actually click through to the website, don't undervalue them, because if they're clicking through to the website, then again, you can get through to that. They're at that attention level where you can then show them a conversion advertisement, and that's a retargeted advertisement because they've gone and visited your website. So yes, it's another step, but they may actually be more valuable as a customer. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that they just go for the conversions all the time. But you could be scaling your business much larger if you actually think about a broader audience that you could target as well. Some different types of examples and languages that you might use. You might put a blog out there that, for instance, probably isn't one of my strong points, but 10 tips to stay on fashion trend for spring, or something that offers value, that says, yes, I need to know that because I want to have that information and that knowledge. Another one might be like, you'll never have to worry about wriggling out of a contract again. So offering that benefit and that emotional connection with people that have gone through whatever product or service that you've often, we've all been there, I'm sure, where you're tied to a contract and you can't get out of it. So having that feeling, and I guess trying to get that emotional connection with them. Or maybe it's just the benefit of the actual product itself and something that they need to make that decision and come through and purchase more products, like free shipping on all orders over $50 or whatever it is. Again, it's advantages and benefits of the product as well. So different types of languages that you are trying to offer value to that people to get them to take that next step. And then if we go to the top of the funnel through to the awareness stage, where these are the people that you're trying to get into that consideration level. So if you think about that funnel itself and where they're at, you've got the point where they're close to purchasing. Then a middle level is they've had an interaction with the brand, and whether it be you need to get some sort of data from them, whether it be a website visit, an email address, watching a video, interacting with a piece of content. The goal of the awareness stage is, or what campaign objective can I use to get them into that consideration level? So you need to think about how you can grab the attention of a completely cold audience. And again, that message is going to be very, very different to someone that's a warm or a hot audience, if you want to call them that. So you need to offer value first to stand out in the newsfeed. And that's really critical for this awareness stage. You sort of a lot of people think, well, what tactics can I kind of use? But, and maybe people don't post as much on their organic page anymore because they don't have as much reach as they once had. But a lot of people don't like jump on their Facebook page every day and put offers up there every second day. So because I guess they don't want to alienate their followers and likes that they've got there on their existing page. So if you're thinking about what content you use on a day-to-day basis, that's actually a really good mind frame to get into. What can I put in front of a cold audience? So again, think about that human interaction when they first walk into a store. What can you offer their value? What can you offer them that will just pique their attention? Whether it be just starting a conversation with them about your industry, your product itself, the things that they've gone through. So content that delights and entertains them and gets a bit of an emotional reaction. And again, it's not going to be a purchase straight up. It just simply won't work on Facebook. It won't work in the long term. So you need to be able to build that relationship with people. You need to talk about the viewer and their problems and not about your business, not yet anyway. So some of the ad types that work in this stage, videos are fantastic because they help you portray a really quality message straight up. Again, you can combine it with so many different visual mediums that people will consume it, and human nature says that people are looking for that human interaction, particularly if it's got people in the video. They're always wanting that human connection. Images, if you don't have a video, are fine. You just need to make sure they're really quality images. And I guess that when people take a first glance on it, that old sort of saying of a picture says 1,000 words, you want it to say at least that. And the objectives that you can use for this, again, are not conversions or website clicks or getting them close to that point of conversion. It's really what data can I get from them to be able to show them content into the consideration level. So the objectives would be something like video views, because you can retarget people that watch a certain length of your video views. You can also retarget people based on engagements that they have with your posts as well. So again, if you're looking at that pool of overall people of 1 million people, like I said, and I know I keep harping on it, but there'll be people that are more likely to watch videos as opposed to people that are more likely to perform certain engagements like comment and like and share on the ads as well. So again, examples of how you would talk to them is, how can you get an emotional reaction from people straight up? And one of the best ways to do this is be able to ask a question and get them thinking about potentially, oh yeah, I have gone through that before. So, ever thought about what goes into XYZ, whatever your product is? Want to know more? Check this out. So a really simple formula for copy is, get that connection, qualify them and give them a solution and a call to action. So things that you never hear people say about XYZ. So kind of that funny, humorous type thing, and get that connection, build a trust that way. You can also do things like, tag that friend you can always rely on too. And again, this is a pure engagement play, and it's getting people performing behaviors that they're used to on Facebook, like tagging their friends and commenting with their friends and interacting with their friends and family. So again, not pushing that business message straight up, but offering value and offering the opportunity to engage and have some fun with their family and friends. So that's at the awareness level there. So then I just want to recap on, I guess, the 3 levels and the principles around Facebook advertising itself and the principles around Facebook advertising funnels. So you always want to put the user first when thinking about your advertising funnel. You need to map out the potential touch points that you have with your customers, and then when they're at those touch points, what compelling offers can you put in front of them to get them to take action and get them further along the point to where they're closer to take that conversion. So that's really the basis of a Facebook advertising funnel. And again, I encourage you to use that worksheet. And like I said at the start of the webinar, I want to give you some steps to take straight up after this webinar, so you know what to focus on first. I know it's quite overwhelming with a lot of information. So like I said, try and complete that Facebook advertising funnel worksheet and go through that process. And whether you use that worksheet or whether you just use a whiteboard and a piece of paper, think about that journey that customers have, like I've mapped out here, and think about the journey that you have in purchasing something in general, like last time you purchased something online or last time you made a big decision, like, if you don't offer $100 pair of shoes, which I'm sure not a lot of people do, but what service can you think about where you've had to make a big life decision, and the decision process that you went through and the research that you did, and potentially, well, where if you were that brand trying to get you over the line, what could they have put in front of you that would have built more trust and got you to take more actions and more behaviors, not necessarily faster, but just, I guess, offering value that you knew that when it came to the point, it came to the time of making a decision, you remembered and recognised that brand. Can Canvas ads be shared on other social media platforms? No, they can't. Instagram, sorry, they can be. So advertised Canvas ads can work on Instagram as well. Some of the like the little components in the canvas themselves won't work on Instagram, like 360-degree video and stuff like that, but they won't be able to be shared to anything other than what Facebook owns. They certainly don't want to go and get you sharing links off of it. Just simply won't work. So, and it only works on mobile. Just remember that as well, Canvas ads. So the one after that, yeah, what to do next after you've completed that process. Like I said, we've got this, got these Facebook advertising webinar series running every Wednesday. Next week's topic is creating Facebook ads that convert. So if you think about the process, and I've structured it in this way that you start with the audience of who I'm going to target, then you're going to map that audience out and how you can get them from a cold or cool to a warm audience to a hot audience, and that's with Facebook advertising funnels. And then next week, we're going to talk about the ads that actually work and how you can structure them properly to get them to take action. So and head to that URL there, organikdigital.com.au/webinar, and you can register for that one. So I encourage you to register for next week's webinar. It's going to be a really interesting one, talking about the different ad units themselves, showing some examples from around. Are there any questions on how you can, I guess, get I also mentioned at the start that you've got your bonus Facebook ad performance session. So I want to make sure I give you some details on how to actually claim that. So what I'm doing is offering a free 30-minute ad performance, whether it be, if you're not doing ads at the claim that free session, and we can, if you are running ads as well and you need some troubleshooting, I'm happy to jump into your Facebook Ads Manager with you. The only thing I ask is, as well, is that I'm ask you some questions around your advertising, to take some research around what you're struggling with, and I'll do that to help with future webinar topics. I just want to ask some questions around what you would prefer to learn about what I'm with. So to claim that, like I said, head to organik.com.au/training, and you can claim your free 30-minute ad performance session there. We've got some details on our training there. You just need to enter the form on the right-hand side, and you'll actually get an email with our full training program, what we do on a day, of training as well. Just in the comments, just leave a comment saying you attended the webinar. I'm sure I'll recognise your email anyway. And then I'll just send you a link to book at a time that suits you, and we can catch up on the phone, Skype, whatever works, just for half an hour and chat through whatever you like. Talking of training sessions, obviously it's something that we do via the webinars, but if you're looking for a more intensive and a more detailed training session, we do offer individual or group options as well. We run them generally over course of half a day, in person or online, or really whatever schedule works for you. We can break it up for you, but basically our training sessions walk through every step we take to set up campaigns. So if we were to manage the campaign for you, we'll take you through where we would start and where we would finish, through to how we would track, report, troubleshoot any campaigns down the track as well. So it's a full training lot. Like I said, we do offer individual group training sessions, obviously. I'm wondering how much they are. So there are two options. First one, if you're just an individual business and you're just wanting one-on-one training, much off short of the end of the day, we really pay attention to the strategy and sales funnel and we map out going through that process that we've done today. We solve any issues you're facing in growing your scale in your business, and how you can, I guess, attract a more a broader audience, and how you can bring them into that advertising funnel. And we also pay a fair bit of attention to the creative that will help you convert customers, and how we can put stuff in front of them that's working on Facebook. If individual training isn't your thing and you prefer to do it with a bunch of friends or work friends, whether that be from other businesses as well, if you're an individual business owner, and you've got a few friends that would like to attend, then grab a few friends together. We're actually offering a deal where the organiser comes free if you can get up to 5 friends. So we do a maximum of 6 people per session. So basically the other 5 people will pay $250, you would come for free. If you can't get 5 and you can only get 4, then the price just scales from there. So as a group, obviously we still give you individualized attention. There is some more attention paid to, I guess, troubleshooting the issues and talking about what creative would resonate with your customer base as well as talking about some different tactics and the sales funnel for each of the businesses as well. So there's that group training offer there as well. Like I said, we're offering the organizer comes free if that's interest of you as well. So just check your details at that URL/training, and we can organise a time that works for you, like so we do it in person or online via Skype or Zoom, whatever works for you there as well. But that is it basically for today's webinar. We've got a few more minutes to answer any more questions that you may have. If you think of something after the fact, here are my details. If you want to start a Facebook Messenger chat, obviously I spend a fair bit of time on Facebook. So organicdigital.com.au/chat will just take you and open up a Facebook Messenger conversation. That's my email address. Or if you want to talk to me in person, I also enjoy human interaction. That's my phone number, and I'm on Skype all the time as well. But to book your free training session, head to that URL. It is actually also in the button underneath this window as well, where the comments and that are. There's the button there to register here and take advantage of that free 30-minute session. But I hope you all enjoyed today. Like I said, would love to see you on next week's webinar, and we're going to be running these ongoing from every Wednesday from now on a range of different topics. Those topics will be decided by you. So if you've got any feedback on them as well, good, bad, or otherwise, or if you would like me to cover any topics in particular, then I'd love to hear what you're struggling with, what challenges you're facing with your Facebook ads, and I'll turn that into a webinar topic and we'll run that. So hope you enjoyed that. Thanks again, Sally, Ines, Marissa, for joining. Pleasure to have you on board. Like I said, there'll be a replay available after the fact, but reach out if you need anything else at all. But have a fantastic day and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Appreciate your time. I'll chat to you soon. Bye.